This is Greg Carson, former player of the Nitehawks and alumni from 1993 to 1997. Also proud member of the first Cyclone Taylor Championship team in Beaver Valley. You're listening to Hawk Talk with hosts and alumni Ross Simner, Jake Morissette, and Connor Jones. Enjoy the show, folks.
Welcome back, all you Hawk Talk listeners, alumni, and fans all across North America and worldwide, actually, over in Europe as well. We're getting quite a big following over there. In Wales, we got Hawk Talk episode 14 in the new year here. Coming off a great episode last week. We got a special guest with us here. We'll introduce in a second here. Just going to touch base with Connor over there, growing out the Jan-Vember stash. What's going on?
Yeah, looking pretty good. It's not an episode unless you have to make fun of something for me. So haircut was last time and mustache is this one. I guess got to keep it in tight, but great to see you guys.
You don't have the salt yet with the in the beard too much, so I can't say too much, right?
Yeah, it's probably coming soon though.
Hair club for men over there or for the facial. I like that rocking out. You're just combing it in, yeah, buddy?
Yeah, comb it in, keep it a little darker, throw a hat on top so you can't see it thinning out. But yeah, doing all right, buddy.
Yeah, and rocking the Pearl Jam shirt over in Wales. Big following over there.
Yeah. Me
Speaking of, because we're going to get into a little bit of locker talk music today as well, because some of those songs when they still come on, it's especially Sandstorm. I still heck of a song to put on repeat anytime you're going to go on the ice. We got a special guest today. Looking forward to this because I got to play against him, never got to play with him. You guys probably looked up to him. That is Mr. Captain Hook, I think they say, carving up there, Trent Sprague. How you doing, Sprager?
Oh, not too bad. How are you doing?
Oh, we're great, man. Happy to have you on. As you know, we go through a lot of our sources here. We got quite a few people that work on the pod. So we send our writers out to get intel, and a lot of the info coming back started with nastiest stick of all time, but never got caught.
Yeah, that's
and we're
true.
not talking about your sauce pass. We'll get to that later.
The sauce pass came up, but it was a little more of the dirty work with the stick.
It wasn't in the subject. The subject line of the emails came back as nasty stick, and then it was like into you. You don't remember any of those. You don't remember any of those stories, do you?
Well, yeah. Do you still have that little scar that I gave you? Or?
Do I ever?
You guys played against each other?
Yeah.
2 years.
Whoa, boy! I can't imagine.
He took a run at me in Castlegar there, and I speared him.
I learned from some of the best, right? And I don't think you actually got called on it either back then.
No, I didn't get called for that. But
the funny thing was, and nobody would ever stick up to you guys. But the funny thing was, I remember when I got to BV, and one of our again longtime listeners texted in and said there was this prototype stick, and he thought it was grass, but I now remember, and I thought, what was that one? And it was the first time you ever seen this one piece, and this thing, I believe it was a branches. And it was called like a rhino or something. It was like dark gray.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I got there, that thing was carved up already, but it was still standing. People used to just bring it up for the odd practice. The story gets put in that you used to use. I got there and I was like, this thing's a weapon. And I was like, Sprague bring that out every couple games. You'd see him go on the ice with that prototype branches stick with fiberglass sticking out of it. You remember that thing?
Yeah, I remember that thing.
I'm guessing that's what you got me with, man. Boy, did that ever bring up. I haven't slept good since I got this text message like 3 days ago, man. I'm waking up to this. I missed my men's league game on Monday because I was shaking in my boots about this branches one piece that had fiberglass juts coming out. So we usually like to start off a little bit with like what got you to the Hawks? What got you to Fruitvale?
Well, I tried out in Kamloops for the Blazers there, and I had a good camp there and made it inter-squad game. And then I think Glenn Sanders for the Trail Smoke Eaters was there watching. So he brought me to Trail, and I tried out for Trail, and I think I played about 10 games or something, and I hurt my shoulder. And then when I was better, I got transferred over to Beaver Valley, and then I was there for the year.
Did you grow up playing? Give us a little bit of that.
All my minor hockey was in Prince George, AAA, all the way up, right from Pee-wees to midgets. We won a provincial championship with the midget team.
What was your first impression of going to Beaver Valley, Sprague? Like when you walked in the room or met Hank or my dad, like what were kind of things you were thinking about as you were obviously leaving from home?
Felt very welcome there, and right from day one, met Hank. Hank was great, supported us, was there for us when we needed him, and same with your dad and Pat Corrado. They were a good tandem when they were together. No, the Hawks were good. They welcomed me there, and can't remember who we were playing, but I know I got a hat trick and 2 assists that first game.
You're like, this is awesome. Let's keep doing this.
Yeah.
So how old were you then? Were you 17 in your first year?
I was 16, but I turned 17 in December, end of December.
You're going to high school then.
Yeah, I went to JL Crow there for a few years.
Nice. How was that?
I was good. All the guys hated us. All the girls loved us. But
Got to work out in that old school weight room there, right?
yeah,
Just look at some of these guys. I remember playing you guys. Thinking I guess your first year, second year. But you guys, obviously Dixon, you had a net. You guys had pretty unique team, right?
Dixon, Jackman, Chris Cuff, Cam Keith. Yeah, we had a good team.
And then 98. So then the next year, you guys got, I guess, you had a couple a little bit younger coming in. You guys had a decent amount of rookies coming, but I mean, again, packed squad of players. That's where you guys really started. You guys went to that was the year you guys won the league, right?
Yeah, went to the Western Canadian Finals.
Wow. So what are some of those players? Like, can you comment on some of the? I guess we'll start with the first year. Just some of those guys. Who'd you play with? What what guys you remember? Kind of guys, either things they did on the ice or PG M-rated stuff off the ice.
Yeah, I remember I played with Chris Cuff and Cam Keith, so that was in my line.
Oh, that's a solid line that you pick up in EA Sports all-time lineup, right?
Yeah, no, we had some fun. And I remember Jackman on that team, like 15 years old. He would just grab guys and just beat the snot out of them. And it was just crazy how strong that kid was. When we were 17, 18, 20, and he's 15, he just grabbed whoever. He was a man at 15. I remember that. I remember.
Was the league any tougher than it was that during that time? I feel like Simmy, Jay, like you guys had like weather, like there was just
Weatherhead
had like guys who could beat the shit out of each other.
So you guys remember
we had in Calscar, we had the BV flu. Like I was a rookie and I was playing like first line. I think more minutes any game against BV just because everyone was out. Guys would be pulling hammies and warm up. Guys would be, getting sick on the car ride there. It was incredible how pregame, like how you just those guys circled those games for that. Like it was an intense team. You got pumped on the scoreboard and you got pumped hard physically and spirit as well, I should add.
Hey, I got nominated one year for most sportsmanlike.
You only had one ref back then.
Yeah, it was a joke. Well, it wasn't a joke, but I got called into Hank and Jonesy's office there, and then they were just laughing their ass off because I got, it was like I only had 19 or 18 minutes in penalties, and they're like, "You're one of the nominations for most sportsmanlike." I was like, "What?"
Just sneaky, eh?
Just not getting caught, eh?
Oh yeah, you always got to look at that ref before you do anything. There's only one back then when we played, right?
It must have been funny. You go in the room, they're telling you about your 1, 2, and 3 ratings that Hank's giving you for the games, then tell you about the lady being specialist. So I remember you're in the you guys made the cycle in that first year that you played. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what was that run like? 'Cause I remember as a kid, like I was quite young. It was just super cool to see the team doing so well. But like for you joining the team in your first year, what was that like with the people getting involved? I remember the rink being packed as a kid, going to every game. It was super cool.
Yeah, it was full all the time there. It was awesome. And I remember going to, I think it was Parksville. Were we on the way to Parksville?
Okay.
And our bus broke down. And we in the pass there in Nancy Green.
Is that the Bluebird?
Yeah, the Bluebird. And then we were stranded. I think we were stranded for like 4 hours. And then we got it towed to, there's that little place on the other side of the pass there. But anyway, then Hank had ordered another bus and it showed up, and we got into town real late on the island there. So we still got up the next day and won 2 games. So it was good. And then I think Melfort is where we played for the over in
Saskatchewan.
Was that like that was the Western Canadian champion?
That was the Western Canadian champions, yeah.
So was Parksville, was that the Cyclone Taylor final? I think the Cyclone Taylor final was in Fruitvale, wasn't it?
No, it was. I think you guys came down to Campbell River
Yeah.
first year because you guys beat us in the playoffs first round, and I remember you guys came down and played the Storm and beat them. And I remember scoring and be like, the guys in Campbell River be like, "There's no way you guys are gonna."
We lost to Campbell River. I know that one year.
That was in the play the semifinals, right?
Yeah.
So the year before would have been Parksville. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Parksville's the home of the Canadian Sandcastle Championships, which is a nice little tidbit I like to add in. It reminds me of tidbits for all you listeners out there. Forgot to mention this at the beginning, but we have a new segment at the end of the show. Jakey's BV Hawk Talk tidbits and trivia. And you're going to have an opportunity to win a nice piece of swag merch from your Hawk's Nest. Jakey's going to ask a question at the end of the show, and first person to comment on this, either on Instagram or Facebook, is going to win that prize. So that's a good little plug for Jakey. Connor, you're up.
Yeah, so Sprague, I just remember as a kid and talking with my dad, watching you and Cuff and Big Rig play, like, and so I talked to my dad. I was like, "Hey, we got to get Cuffy on here." So we're gonna bring him on here real quick, and you guys can chat about a little about the old chemistry on the ice.
All right, looks like C Cuff is in the house. No picture, but we got audio there, Cuff.
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
You betcha.
We can hear you well.
How's everyone doing?
Good, man. It's great to have you on. We got a couple stories about you guys from past coaches. We've already talked about the stick work, but also apparently you had a nice little sauce pass on those sticks that he sharpened up over to you, who would bury it there. And I got to say, just as a guy who didn't get to play against you, but I thought you had the greatest hockey name of all time. So that's my little Cuff plug for you there. How are you?
Great. How are you guys? Good?
Yeah, doing great.
We're all good. So do you remember back then when he first walked into the Hawks change room and kind of joined your guys' team from Trail when he first came in?
Yeah, I do. I remember it well. I kind of got there in a roundabout way, and I think my first reaction was like, "Where am I?" But after a couple practices and meeting all the guys, and getting out there and playing, that immediately fell in love with the place. So
were you guys line mates early on? God, when was the last time you guys saw each other, Sprague or Cuffer?
25 years.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, I think we were line mates pretty quick.
Yeah, we were line mates, me, you, and Cam Keats for right off the bat for that whole season, I think, pretty much.
Yep.
What do you guys remember about that? Like, was it like, I remember the lines I've been on. My brother was, "Hey, you go get the puck and give it to me." Like, Sprague, was that you? Were you the one on F1 making the plays and Cuffy finishing? Was it a good chemistry of everybody?
Oh, well, it was pretty good all together. I think we all made great passes, buried the puck. Chris was lightning fast, and so was Cam, and we all made great plays. It was a great line. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, instant chemistry. I remember we were pretty dangerous down low. We cycled well together. Kept it simple, played close together, passed and moved, and we scored a lot of goals.
Was your team the first for the called the remix of You Didn't Know, Fuel, Give Me Fire, which just added to the damn intimidation of going to the Hawks Nest? Like, was that you guys that started that one?
Yeah, I think that was Greg Carson that made that recommendation.
Oh, really? Because a couple guys would shit themselves in the change room hearing that before they walked on. That helped with the BV flu.
Yeah, it was either him or Kyle Weatherhead. I can't remember exactly though. Back
then too, without the internet now, trying to mix that together must have been pretty fun to watch. Who do you guys got? Like, let's talk a little bit about the change room. Who do you guys got for change room players? Like, who was the guys? What was the atmosphere like?
It was always pure laughs. Eli and Jared Mason and those guys were always cracking jokes and doing stuff. So it was. The locker room was pretty relaxed for practice and stuff like that. But then when it came to be game time, everyone kind of buckled down, was ready to go. That's kind of what I remember.
I'd say Jared Mason too. Yeah, he would get everybody going with his jokes and some of the stuff he would do. It was good.
Yeah, so he's no different when you guys played with him. He was a young buck getting started, and he was 20-year-old captain when me and Simmy played with him.
Yeah, when he would like put Jakey, like drive him to school after, pack his lunch for a big old pop plate.
He would actually be waiting at the house when I got home from school. Him and Jordy Judge.
He actually would. Jakey, yeah, that's pretty funny. So you guys, you two, how long did you play together for?
Just that year, I think. Cuff went up to the Smokies the next year, didn't you, Chris?
Yeah, and then they traded me my final year. I can't remember. Were you still there at that point?
In BV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we probably would have reunited us at that point. But after I got traded to Trail that third year, I only played a handful of games with Beaver Valley because of injuries and whatnot. So
yeah.
Oh, so you got traded out of Trail and you went back and played for BV.
Yeah, I got traded on Remembrance Day. It would have been like 99 to Nelson, and I was not going to Nelson, so I kind of packed it and went back to BV.
How did you end up in Beaver Valley, Cuffy?
So I started that summer as a 17-year-old with the Port Valley Eagles. We did a split camp. I went to Europe with half the team. The other half stayed in North America. 2 weeks into about a week into that camp, the coach got in a fight with the GM and resigned. So they released me. So I came back from Europe and I skated a couple games with the St. Albert Saints and made a bad pass in the game. And Dean Clark, who was the head coach, said that was the last time you played for the St. Albert Saints. So I was I don't know what I was going to do. And I ran into a guy I played midget AAA with named Greg LeMay, who was in Nelson. And he told me about David Greenhall and Calvin McKay. And I called Calvin and kind of told him the situation. And he said, look, we've got 13 forwards. You can be our 14th or 15th forward, but you're going to play in Beaver Valley and practice when you can. And that was how I got to Beaver Valley.
And what was like the first impression of Hank and my dad and Pat? Like, were those guys you instantly were kind of drawn to of what they're kind of building out there? Or what was your first thoughts?
Oh man, it's been so long. I just really was focused on fitting in, and I had gotten sick in Europe, so I lost a bunch of weight. So I was just trying to get my game back and see where I fit in the lineup and just try to contribute. I think I liked your dad instantly. He was kind of no BS, and Pat was kind of crotchety and and I always liked Hank. Hank was always optimistic and patting guys on the back and giving high fives. So I connected. I felt very comfortable after a couple of weeks and knew this was a good place for me to be.
Oh, that's super cool. What are you up to now, Cuffy?
So I live in Apex, North Carolina.
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
currently working from home. I'm an accountant for a pharmaceutical services company and just trying to get through our audit and year ends. It's all those kind of fun things.
Cool.
Wow, down in North Carolina. You how close is that to I guess where the Canes play? Is there still what's going on with hockey down there? I see cheerleaders and stuff like down there with hockey.
Yeah, the Canes are close. I'm about 15 minutes outside of Raleigh, so I actually haven't gone to a game this year, but I usually go out to 4 or 5. I'm actually an Oilers fan, so don't get to a ton of Canes games.
Sprague as well. What's happening now? Where are you at?
I'm in Edmonton. I work up at Synovus Energy at one of the SAGD gas sites there. Been in Edmonton 4.5 years. Kids going to school here. I enjoy the Oilers games here. I'm an Oilers fan too. So.
Well, there you go. You guys got to get together for an Oilers matchup at some point, right, fellas? So you guys, we kind of talk like with this alumni association so that we everyone played different amounts of time and stuff. What it's like some things like I think there's just such a for the majority of people who play for the Hawks had a certain experience, either like learned something, were able to be a part of something. Do you guys what are your thoughts on where you think about that still? Memories come up with you guys obviously. Can you give us a bit of that why it's important for you? We'll start with Sprague.
Being a part of the Hawks there, I was a leader, so throughout my life I've been a leader in everything I've done now because the coaches and Hank, they taught me how to be a good leader, and I've carried that on right up till now and continue to do it. And I teach my kids the same thing. And I from being with that team, even after I was done playing, I went back to Prince George, and actually Chris Canagan was there, and he was doing his flight training, so I got to spend a couple years hanging out with him. We played on the same rec hockey team,
He's a Dr. Hook as well. People don't know that.
Yeah,
He's
he's
got
here in
his-
Edmonton. I haven't got to hook up with him here in Edmonton, but
I like Ken.
he is here. I've reached out to him. He's just been busy. But and then Prince George there on my same rec team, the goalie that played for Campbell River when we lost, he was our goalie for our rec team. Yeah, so
who was that?
And that was Dean Schultz.
Yeah, Schultzy.
And then here, when I moved to Edmonton here, I get together with Jason Peters lots here. So like, they're all, once you play with them, they're all family, right? So
Cuff?
yeah.
I think, my experiences in Beaver Valley and Trail have very much molded who I am as an adult. Some of the things that are really important to me, hard work, teamwork, being honest with yourself about what you're contributing, whether it be your personal life or work life. No one there pulled punches or, made you unnecessarily feel good about yourself. It was always very honest. And I think that was a good starting place to anytime you're having a conversation, especially with Terry, you could not bullshit him. That's kind of the way he's wired. I'm sure Connor can speak to that too. Yeah, it was a very important part of my life and largely shaped who I am.
Well, hey, I remember watching you guys play, and one of my favorite lines of all time for sure. Cuffy, you were probably arguably my favorite player. So,
thank you.
The confidence is down today. Get it up, But you still skate ever? Do you guys still play anything like that?
Yeah, I do. I play in a Sunday league. It's not the best, but there's some decent players in it, and there's random skates around here with X Hurricanes. There's a Friday skate that I like. It's got it's got some ex Div 1 players in it, some guys that played in the ECHL. Yeah, I try to skate as much as I can.
Sprague, and what about you?
Well, I haven't played much since I left Prince George, and that was probably 17 years ago. I've been on the ice with my kids once in a while, but other than that,
Branches stick is still alive though.
what's that?
You said bet you that Branches stick is still hasn't busted yet. So if we can get you that sent out.
I still got one stick I had when I played in BV there, still downstairs in the corner.
I don't have any left. I used to sign them and give them to Connor, and I just found out I wasn't his favorite player. So
I still have
can't
that one
believe
though.
that. The kid just screwed me for sticks probably to use on his driveway. Meanwhile, he's like, Coffee, you were my favorite, man.
I never got a cuff, but I got a Jackman signed, and I used it for street hockey. My mom wasn't overly happy about it. Nice.
Oh.
And nice and thin. I don't think it's worth anything anymore.
Boys, this has been awesome. We're gonna bring in again the newest segment, Jakey's trivia tidbit question for the week.
Is that the name we're going with for this segment?
Oh, we're gonna throw it up there for.
Working title.
Yeah, it's a working title. It's the first time.
Along with answers to the trivia, you can suggest a name for the trivia segment as well.
We'll give it to some of our writers. We'll give it to some of our writers.
Yeah, some of our writers. All right, today's question. Who is the all-time Nitehawk leader in games played?
If you got the answer, throw it in there on the in the comments. Right, you're gonna get a nice little piece of merch sent out to you. We'll connect with you. One of our people will connect with you. No Googling it either.
Yeah.
Right, the first thing there. So, boys, really appreciate having you out. If I don't know if you guys gonna get back at all at some point to Fruitvale, but it'd be fantastic to see everybody there. I know your guys' era was kind of like I said, a pretty big part for kind of really getting BV. I think after your guys' year, like when you guys played on those teams, I don't think they've ever actually slowed down since then. It's kind of it's always been a premium team, but it was a pretty awesome squad you had there. So really happy to have a couple guys from that team.
Yeah, great. My pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, fellas. Taking some time.
Okay, have a good one, boys. We'll catch up with you again soon. And hopefully everyone's watching out for those little behind the ref spears on you, all right?
Good, buddy.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hi, listeners. This is former Nitehawks player and captain Morgan Peace from the 2017 to 2020 seasons. I hope you're enjoying the show. Make sure to follow us on social media at BV Nitehawks Alums and to visit our website at bvnighthawksalum.ca.